You are probably stressing your cat right now, and you almost certainly think you are doing the opposite. Not through neglect, not through anything you would recognize as a problem, through the exact things you do because you love them. Gestures that feel like affection to you, but land completely differently on the other side. Most cat owners who learn this feel the same thing at first, a mix of surprise and something close to guilt, because the behaviors are ordinary, daily, things that feel so natural that the idea of them causing stress seems almost impossible. But your cat has been sending signals about it for a long time. You just did not know what you were looking at. Think about the last time you walked over to your cat while they were sleeping and gave them a long pet because they looked so peaceful you couldn't help it. Your cat probably stayed still, maybe purred, maybe shifted slightly and settled back down, and you walked away feeling like that was a good moment between you. For you, it was. For your cat, something different happened. Or think about the last time you picked your cat up because you wanted to hold them, not because they came to you, but because you went to them. They tolerated it, did not fight you, but at some point their back legs started moving, or their tails started twitching, or there was a quality of stillness in their body that was not relaxation. You probably put them down and thought nothing of it. These moments are so woven into the daily fabric of living with a cat that almost no one questions them. But there are three specific things inside that fabric that create more background stress for your cat than almost anything else in their environment, and all three of them come from you trying to love them. The first one is the hardest to hear because it is the most common expression of affection cat owners have: interrupting your cat's sleep to pet them. Cats sleep between 12 and 16 hours a day, not because they're lazy, because their bodies require it. The kind of hunting they're built for demands explosive bursts of energy, followed by deep recovery. Sleep is not optional for a cat. It is the system resetting itself for the next time it needs to perform at full capacity. When you interrupt that sleep, even gently, even with the softest touch, you are pulling your cat out of a recovery state their body was in for a reason. And because cats are prey animals as much as they are hunters, being woken unexpectedly activates something in them that your gentle hand cannot immediately override. The body registers the interruption before the brain registers that it's you. Your cat does not startle visibly. They're too familiar for you for that. But something tightens and then has to unwind every single time. Think about how many times a day that happens in your home. A quick pet while they're napping on the couch, picking them up from a deep sleep because they look irresistible, waking them to see if they want to eat. Each one feels like nothing. Accumulated over a day, over a week, they add up to a pattern your cat's nervous system is quietly managing the entire time. The second thing is something almost every owner does without realizing it carries any weight at all: sustained, direct eye contact. Between cats, a long, unbroken stare is not affection, it's a challenge. It's what happens right before a confrontation, a moment before one animal decides whether to hold ground or back down. Your cat knows you're not another cat, but the wiring that reads a direct stare as pressure doesn't turn off just because the source is familiar. When you look at your cat for long stretches, watching them sleep, staring because you find them beautiful, making eye contact and holding it because it feels intimate, your cat is managing something in that moment that you cannot see. Not fear, not aggression, just a low, constant hum of alertness that was not there before you started looking. And the third thing is coming, and it is the one most owners find the most surprising. The third thing is physical contact your cat did not initiate. Not rough handling, not anything that looks like a problem from the outside. Just picking your cat up because you wanted to, or pulling them closer when they were already near you, or holding them in your lap past the point where they were ready to leave. Your cat tolerates it. That is the word that matters. Tolerates, not enjoys. And the difference between those two things is written clearly in their body the entire time it is happening, in a language most owners have never been taught to read. Watch your cat the next time you pick them up uninvited. Not their face, their their body, back legs, the tail, the way their weight distributes in your arms. A cat that is genuinely comfortable being held is loose. Their weight sinks into you. Their tail hangs still or wraps slightly. Their back legs are relaxed. A cat that is tolerating being held is different. The weight stays slightly forward, like they are already calculating the landing. The back legs never fully relax. They stay ready. The tail moves in a way that is not agitation yet, but is not stillness either. And at some point, usually before you are ready to put them down, something in their body shifts into a different register entirely. That shift is them telling you they are done. And every moment after that shift, every second you hold on past that point is a small withdrawal from something your cat has been quietly building with you. Pay attention to this. None of these three things will break your relationship with your cat. One interrupted nap is not a crisis. One long stare is not a rupture. One uninvited hold that goes slightly too long is not damage. But all three running daily without awareness create a background level of stress that colors every interaction your cat has in your home. And the cost of that stress is not dramatic. It is subtle. A cat that approaches you slightly less often than they used to, that settles near you but not quite on you, that purrs but briefly, that is present but at a distance they chose and that you never quite noticed getting wider. Write in the comments which of these three things surprised you the most. I want to know, because what comes next is the simplest set of adjustments you can make starting today that will change how your cat moves through your home almost immediately. The adjustments are smaller than you think. And that is the point. You do not need to stop touching your cat. You do not need to avoid eye contact entirely or become someone who ignores them to avoid stress. What you need is a small shift in the direction of every interaction, from you initiating to you responding. With sleep. When your cat is sleeping and you feel the pull to touch them, wait. Not forever, just until they wake on their own and move toward you. That moment, when your cat surfaces from sleep and the first thing they do is look for you or walk in your direction, is worth 10 interrupted naps, because it was their choice, their timing. And a cat that wakes up and immediately seeks you out is telling you something about how safe your presence feels that no amount of uninvited petting can create. With eye contact, the adjustment is even simpler. When you find yourself watching your cat for long stretches, break it with a slow blink before they do. Close your eyes slowly and open them at the same pace. That signal, which cats use with each other to communicate the absence of threat, tells your cat that your gaze was not a challenge, that you were looking because you wanted to, not because something was about to happen. Most cats respond to a slow blink from their owner with a visible shift in their body, a loosening. Sometimes they blink back. That exchange costs you nothing and changes the quality of the moment completely. And with physical contact, let them leave. The moment your cat's body tells you they are ready to go, the shifting weight, the moving tail, the legs that stopped being still, open your hands. Do not hold tighter. Do not try to extend it. Let them go and watch what happens next. A cat that was released the moment they asked to be released comes back faster than one that had to work to get free, because leaving was easy, which means coming back carries no risk. Your cat does not need you to love them less. They need you to love them in a way their body can actually receive. And the difference between what you were doing and what works is smaller than you ever expected. Tell me in the comments, after watching this, what is the first thing you are going to do differently with your cat today? I want to read it. And if you want to keep learning how to give your cat exactly what they need in the language they actually understand, subscribe. Most of what your cat needs from you is simpler than you think. This is where you find out what it is.